talented, hungry, fearless, and currently the best. Mad Lions and Rogue are battling for sole control of first in the LEC.
Mad Lions unstoppable. Syndra's looking for the setup. He's gonna get it! Oh, are you kidding me? But Punch just can't get the damage in. He's putting spear after spear, it's a limit. But each spear does a minuscule amount of damage. But already he's down. There's another as Kazi falls rattled, feared away.
Wow, what a dominant performance from Misfits. They may
Could one of these teams be our summer champions?
They can't fight. Oh, what the? No, what? How did he? What?
Are we watching history being made right here, right now?
Kamashon and Melitza are just ripping through the backline. It's not even about comp anymore.
many of the middle of the pack teams that we had from us, but are also elevating their
Since he
level
doesn't
of
have the
play.
damage at this point, G2, they're playing on the edge, they're playing like Batman, but they make it work!
If we had
G2
said to you before the start of summer that this is what the top 3 would look like and that Fnatic and G2 wouldn't be at the top of the tables, you would have called me crazy, Drakos.
Double kill for him as he jumps forward, Reckless gonna fall next, his upset, that's the triple!
Yeah, it's still early on, it's still really close, but the middle of the pack teams, the SKs, the Misfits, the Vitalities, the Mad Lions, the Rogues, all of them have risen up.
Side Roto's death warrant, but he's still alive. Inex is looking to get a second. He gets a double kill.
It feels like it's been completely shifted. There is pretty much nothing that you can take from Spring that is reliably transferred over to Summer.
The whole league is turned on its head.
Who will rise and who will fall?
Welcome back, everyone, to the LEC studio. What an amazing teaser video to get us absolutely in the mood for day 2, because the second round robin is well underway, and today we'll find out if the new wave is here to stay. I'm going to discuss it all at length with Froskurinn and with Drakos, because we're almost 5 weeks in, Frosk, and Mad Lions and Rogue are basically locked in playoffs already. What is going on? Can they stay there?
It feels like the theme of LEC this year is rise up, and that's exactly what we got from our new talent. It's turning the page, casting aside our legacy kings, dynasty no more,
Never.
Origin, G2, Fnatic, get out of here, because the new kids are here to stay.
And this is so unheard of because sometimes Fnatic falls, sometimes G2 falls,
But at the same time,
but they've never
All at
both
the
fallen
same
before.
time.
They've never both been in middle of the pack. So the fact that Mad Lions and Rogue are consistently performing at this level to stay at the top of the table is incredible.
and it's a two-factor thing. It's the fact that, yes, Fnatic and G2 have fallen backwards, but Mad Lions are no longer the one-dimensional team they used to be. They have so many different strategies, and they're hitting you fast. And Rogue are also now these genius macro teams. It's the individual laners that are stepping up. We always knew that they were smart, but now they're brute-forcing talented with the likes of Hansama and Vander.
And I think we have to be a bit more nuanced when we talk about the top of the table and not just take Mad Lions and Rogue and just put them together, because they are distinctly different in the way they approach the game. And I think we need to give them that credit as well.
Yeah, and at the simplest level, if you're not too familiar with the team, you can look at picks, you can look at champ select and kind of the innovation that we're seeing from Mad Lions, whereas Rogue appear to be driving things in a much more standard way and executing it to perfection.
The easiest way that I like to think about it, and this is a very dumbed down way to think about it, is Mad Lions play the team in front of them. Rogue always play the map in front of them. And it's kind of like that baby G2 Origin is no more. Now it is Mad Lions and his Rogue that have created these two distinctive styles that dominate our league.
It's phenomenal to see, and there are 3 games between them and the second place teams and the third place teams in the league. A 3-game buffer at this point in the split, and having beaten top teams, is enormous. Now, we also need to talk about the not top teams, namely Fnatic. Let's talk about Fnatic, because after yesterday in Misfits, I'm a bit hot and cold. How about you?
As long as you only watch the last 4 minutes of that game and this hero shot of the team, you probably feel great. Of course, if you watch the early game, it's a different story, but hey, win is a win. We take those, I believe, is the Fnatic fan
We take
saying.
those. Yeah.
It's kind of like Fnatic are back. Like, maybe. No, the thing is Fnatic still aren't a great team. There are still very clear synergy issues, kind of the philosophy that they're taking, but they are talented individual players. And I do want to give credit to Nemesis yesterday. He has been feeling a ton of heat from the community. He has had not strong performances, but that Orianna was a massive carry point, and they did draft themselves a really cohesive composition that allowed them to come back in that game.
They did. They won in the end, and just it's absolutely crazy here in the standings. It's hard to make sense of all it all, but we've got a little bit of help for that, because for more on the race for playoffs, let's send it to Quick Shot for a checkup.
Trevor for producer on 1. Trevor 1, are you here? Do you copy?
I'm here.
Oh, dude, are you okay?
I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay, we're live now.
I know. So you need to come with me. You're fine. Trust me. Okay, focus on me. Explain the LEC. Sjokz, do you know what kind of question that is? Do you know how much depth there is to figure this out? But I think I've got it. I'm tantalizingly close. Stay with me and follow me on this journey. It starts with an amazing thing. Jack Troll beats G2 yesterday. His origin story with some fresh vitality. But how? How did he do it? Was it Polska Gurum energy? That's what I was trying to figure out. And I figured there's a connection. There's a deeper connection. Oh, we used to have a connection. Not important now. The connection between Origin and the rest of the league. There are 5 wins, 5 losses. There's 5 teams in week 5. It's all connected. But there's 3 weeks left in the split. There's 8 weeks in a regular season. 5 plus 8, 13. Friday the 13th was when we went online for the first time in spring. And who else has connections? Look at this. Jez has 5 connections. SK, OG, Misfits, Mid, Support. He's part of the reason. He's behind it. He's involved. But I don't yet know exactly how. I've been trying to figure it out. There's something to do with the games. There's something to do with all of them. They're connected. It's the teams. It's the players. I'm so close, Sjokz. Every game, something. Every game. Don't leave me yet. I can do it. I can figure it out. You can trust me. My whole team ready.
I kind of realized last year that I can actually be the best in EU.
Why do they keep breaking?
I think we're starting to see the humanoid that was promised realized.
Statistically speaking, he is the best mid laner right now. He's currently 2nd in XP difference, goal difference. He is 1st in damage per minute difference, damage percent. He has the lowest death percentage for mid laners.
So you don't even need the stats, you just need to watch the games and also know that he is a leader amongst these new players.
Comp is going to get caught out, he tries to get around with the killer instinct, he's still alive! Knocked back with the Dragon's Rage, but Comp does not manage to survive, and that's it, it's done, Mad Lions!
So by the process of elimination, I guess Humanoid is up there with Caps. I think Caps is clearly the best mid laner, and I think since everyone else is not very good, I think Humanoid has to be 2nd, I guess.
Dusty's already dead, Roman takes him out in the death Roman. Now Upset's being knocked up, but he's able to cleanse the flash away. Destiny trying to get away as well as Shadow steps forward. Carsey exhausted. There's the shockwave, there's the shutdown. Mad Lions find 3.
Beautiful double knockup from Kaiser.
Kaiser really surprised me. As soon as he came in, he was really good, like right from the start.
Definitely a flex option here. Whoa, Kaiser going in.
Gage going forward, the knockup. That was so easy.
If you remove this player, could the team be the same?
Bring me a real challenge.
Mad Lions couldn't. They need Kaiser to be able to do what they do.
Losing against us in the best of 5 is like probably hurt their pride a bit. I don't think they ever lost the best of 5 against a European team before. Of course, like we are first place as well. Like they probably want to beat us again. They're one of the 2 teams that beat us in this season, so I think they want to repeat that for sure.
But I also think that Mad is a good team. I do think though that they are a coach team, and when something unexpected happens in game, they are not as good as adapting as they could be. So it is fairly easy to play against Mad as long as they have a good game plan and good draft heading into the game.
Another team that is changing the way that drafting is done, or sticking to their usual drafting style, is G2. Their entire drafting style is based around having Caps out of the lane.
I'm gone.
He spends 51.6% of the first 15 minutes of the game in mid lane.
Caps still stepping forward. Nemesis, he doesn't have the damage at this point. G2, they're playing on the edge. They're playing like madmen, but they make it work. Here's trying to bait him in, but here comes Caps in the meantime. Just gonna ghost his way in. Is this a replay? It's not a replay. One more time.
First, it works. Why not try it again?
All or nothing.
You are already doomed.
That's where it just becomes so interesting, because we basically have G2 that are playing with effectively 2 junglers.
Kavik can now step forward and get aggressive here, but Caps does so much. Pull back from Mickey, spit out, but Doss is on the way now. They have to be careful. All goes down to the Mickey. Caps stay, which has to be respected, though. That's disgusting.
And then you have Mad Lions that is throwing everything out the window. They are the anti-meta team.
The Humanoid lives, and the Oriana can take over this fight. Fnatic are falling as Mad will take the Elder.
Are we as prepared as them, or are we not? And if we are, I think we have a really great chance of winning against them. I think we are like pretty evenly matched in like every role, so I think it would be like a pretty fun match.
Every single game that passes, I believe more and more and more in the Mad Lions.
Once playoffs comes around, you will see why I have been at the top for so long and everyone else hasn't.
That's our Alienware match of the week. The current top team versus the reigning yet faltering champions.
And I'm going to be really honest. Mad Lions are the team that G2 wish they could be right now. This was what everything was promised for us. They hit you hard. They skill match you. They dominate you in lane. They have massive champion pools. Mad Lions are putting on a clinic. They're not just chasing G2. They are G2 now.
I didn't realize we were taking shots in this section. I thought this was where we're like, oh, I'm really excited to see all these good players play. But you're going in, and I respect it. I mean, for me, I'm just ready to see the draft. I want to see a peak performance G2 so we can actually get a gauge of what this might look like if we get to see a best of 5 between these two teams. Because if we get half-assed G2...
Drakos, we've already seen a best of 5 between these two teams. It's 1-1 right now.
Yeah, that's true. You know what I also loved about that video is kind of the respect that's given from the now older, quote-unquote, players like Mickey. Just say, yeah, Kaiser, he just burst onto the scene. He was immediately very good. That's got to be intimidating.
It's very true, but he also said something very different lines for Humanoid. Just like, yeah, everyone else sucks, so I guess Humanoid's second.
I guess it's a matter of perspective, all of that. Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be an amazing one. We never do predictions anymore, but if you want.
Ooh.
Mad.
Yeah.
Is that even hard?
Mad. I mean, that's what I wanted to ask you.
I think Mad, Mad's the easy prediction. G2 look lost in draft, they look lost in game, and Mad seemed to have everything figured out.
All right, let's see. That's the last game of the day, but there's been a lot of surprises this season. Mad, Rogue, SK, Vitality, Fnatic, Excel, Schalke, Misfits, G2, Orgy. So basically everyone.
Actually everyone.
So not all of these stories, though, they can continue. Of course, you may be at the top right now, but can you stay there? Do you have staying power? Who will rise and who will fall? And that's exactly what we're about to discuss. And you can join in, spam in chat, rise or fall, as I get help from my analysts to kind of, I don't know, help you at home. But you can make up your mind, of course. You're strong, independent Twitch chat. Let's start with the fan favorites. Fnatic, rise or fall?
All right, it's hard to really sell Fnatic after yesterday. They played one of the most catastrophic early games I've ever seen. It was abysmally bad. But you're right, at the end of the day, they won the game, so maybe people should be excited. I'm not, though. I am worried about Fnatic. Fnatic are a team that always make playoffs, but if there was ever a split that they were going to miss it, I think it's this one.
I don't know if I'm going to go so far as they'll miss playoffs, but I don't think that Fnatic are going to be rising anytime soon. I think the teams that are above them for pretty clear reasons. Number one, the read on the meta. I think Fnatic's read on the 10-14 patch has gotten slightly better, but so far I still think they're trying to force things. They look desynced, so I think Fnatic stays right where they are.
So you're saying they make it to playoffs, but they don't make a splash, but do they make Worlds?
Wow.
God, betting against any experienced team in a best of 5 is so difficult.
Look at the fans turning on Fnatic right now.
So people at home, 62% for fall.
In the fans' defense, the fall is the same color as the Fnatic logo.
True,
so
they might think that's, you know, they just want to see more of that. That's possible.
Fnatic fans sleeping. Where are you guys at?
Maybe, yeah, they're only going to wake up for the game. Who knows? Next up, Misfits, rise or fall. Ooh, it's such a difficult one because I've seen fantastic games out of the Misfits, but I've also seen, well, 2 throws versus Fnatic and some questionable ones.
Okay, so here's the thing. Recency bias, probably not feeling too great if you're a Misfits fan. That one's going to leave a sour taste in the mouth. But I do want to just propose this type of question. There's a single ticket left for playoffs if we assume all the other teams will make it. That's Vitality, SK, Misfits, and Excel. Misfits and SK are probably your frontrunners. Who is better in the top lane, Dan or Jinax?
Okay, Dan.
Okay, Razork versus Strick.
I still take Razork.
Okay, Febivin versus Zazie.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't even give me the other name because you know the answer because it's Zazie, but go to the bot lane, Frosk.
Oh, it's Kabe versus Crownshot.
It's Crownshot.
Okay.
Crowny.
Maybe right now, and DOS versus Limit.
All right, that one we can go either way. I think Limit's got it. I see your point.
Pound for pound talent, people will jump towards SK, but I still think Misfits. Yes, recency bias, it feels bad, but I think Misfits take it.
But SK can close the game.
Come on, Twitch chat.
SK can close the game and Misfits can't. That's what Twitch is looking at.
Now, I just gave you the math. I gave it to you.
The 3 biggest deficits that teams have come back from, all 2 of them are Misfits versus Fnatic games.
That's true.
So you're telling me they're consistent?
Yeah, they're consistent at losing when it counts and when they've got a massive lead, which is not where you want to be consistent.
But how can we give them what do you see in this roster that could make you think, well, actually, they do have the ingredients and they should be a good playoff team?
I mean, theoretically, when you had Kabe, it was supposed to be like the peak of Misfits. And the issue was is that they almost had that takedown of Fnatic in week #1. And I think people were like, it's Fnatic. They're a good team. Misfits, they're on the rise. And now we realize that Fnatic is like a middle-of-the-pack team.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, maybe your logic is just wrong and all those teams you said were going to make it anyway aren't going to make it either. Like, who knows? Right, people at home, 66% fall for Misfits. Ooh, tough crowd. How about this next one? Origin, rise or fall. Yesterday they beat G2. It was beautiful. It was a great game from Origin, but they're not all like that.
Look, I'm actually on the Origin hype train right now, and I'll just say that Alfari was out there taking names. Of course, he was set up for success in the draft, but after suffering through a difficult lane phase, he was killing people left and right. That immobile Ashe, that immobile Kog'Maw, he made it look easy. We got some sick synergy moments. I'm just going to say it's all Jack Troll, mostly joking. Don't know what Jack Troll's doing, but the team seems to be more coordinated, looking good, and after a mediocre performance so far, I say OG's on the rise.
Here's my issue, though. I feel like Origin don't actually know what makes them good because they never really draft for it. I think they have a band-aid right now where we're in a team fight meta because Elder Soul and Drakes are so important, and Origin just get to rock in and out team fight people with guys like Upset. Alfari makes him good, and they didn't give him any sort of lane power. They never give him lane power. He played a Malphite this time around. He got, what, 5-0 into the lane phase, and yeah, it was a good pick because it's against a Kog'Maw and an Ashe, but give this guy counter pick every single time. Play strong to your lanes. Nuke Duck is still struggling. He had to hide away on the Orianna pick. Like, Origin are a good team. They have good weapons. I wish that they would empower them more.
All right, and Jack Troll's interview yesterday, he said, I fixed some of the issues, all the issues.
Yeah, it's on me. It's a banger. Jack Troll,
great interview.
Solely responsible for all the team's improvement.
Now we're giving you In defense of Jack Troll, I do think that it was wrong that Jack Troll had to carry the sin of Vitality's failures on his shoulder.
Oh, agreed. True.
And the thing is like fans hit him really hard, but like Vitality as a team failed, and for one player to be responsible was just not true. In the Origin system, Jack Troll might be exactly what Origin need, which is someone just saying, we should do this, instead of, hey guys, do you want to do this?
How this or that? Or shall, yeah, fries or potatoes or the mashed
I think you're right. And I think the thing is sometimes all it takes is one member to change to see a significant bump in the performance. I missed it. What did it change?
It was perfect, 50-50.
It was 50-50?
50-50?
So, regardless of your opinion.
I mean, perfect is how you look at it.
We'll take it. 50-50. It's perfect down the line. It's the most we can ask for. And I'd say give Jack Troll a chance is my message.
I totally agree. We're just, of course, making a bit of a joke. But, you know, they got him for a reason. Andre talked to it. He is very vocal. And hopefully he's going to bring Origin to new heights. Now, in any case, today, the second half of LEC Summer continues. And the teams are looking to get an edge in that all-important race for playoffs. I know you've heard it before, but no playoffs means no world. So every team is vying to win today.
All right, I'm getting horrible flashbacks to the day where we thought every single game was decided. I think it was week 1 or week 2, and then every single game went against expectations. Because by all accounts, this should be a day where every game looks heavily favored to one side out of game 5. But it's been a crazy split. I would say be ready for some crazy stuff to happen.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of echoing the same sentiment. I don't think really anyone is safe on the standings today, especially from our top team's performances.
Exactly. And earlier this week, LS, aka LEC Superfan, joined Frosk and Drakos on Euphoria. Let's take a look.
In terms of if a European viewer is watching LEC and they want to understand, you know, who won or lost a draft or what a good draft looks like or what like an excellent draft is, like what would you say are kind of like the takeaway bullet points? Like what are things that you're looking for? I've heard you use, you know, the magic color scheme. I've heard you use different like analogies, but is there like a you must have a tank, you must have a X number of DPS, you want to have this type of damage portfolio? Like what are the bullet points that you would go down?
So I think for team comps, it gets really weird. So first, the thing that you do is you view all the matchups in isolation. And then you apply the how practical is it that these matchups play out this way, assuming these level of players. Because sometimes that lets you go against the draft. If you have, like, I'm going to use an LCK example. If you have Nuguri versus Cuvee, a matchup being disadvantageous, Nuguri still probably will win. Or something like that.
You can tell his disdain by how he says the names. You can always tell when a caster's upset when they're just like, yeah, it's Alfari versus Fen. Who do you think's gonna win?
This isn't a winning matchup. It's just a better player. This is bad information.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
Yeah. So I think it starts there, and then you have to ask yourselves, well, what do these item breakpoints even mean? Because one of the conversations I had on Twitter recently was obviously about Trinity Force Black Cleaver. And I think it goes back to what Drakos was just talking about like players don't realize why they're building the items. Because often the argument I hear is that you can get it sooner. You can buy it sooner. And then, well, now you have to justify buying it sooner, but is your champion that gets that Black Cleaver aligned with the mid laner who is on Sheen Phage Dagger and waiting for his Trinity Force because he doesn't want to fight yet, which means that you can't fight yet because he doesn't want to fight yet. Or, you know, the AD carry is waiting on Mirror Mana. And if the AD carry is waiting 2 minutes until Mirror Mana and you just completed your second core item and the dragon's coming up, well, you can't take the team fight if it's high variance, which means that your item wasn't important. And I think that these things aren't talked about enough.
Thank you so much, LEC Superfan. Now, reminder, you guys, you can watch Euphoria every Thursday. I'm always going to do it. I always want to say dumb and mad.
No,
mom and dad.
Sometimes we're dumb, sometimes we're also mad. We're the mom and dad duo. And look, Ellis is talking a lot about being aware of champions, being aware of itemization, and I think we have a new champion. We have some new itemization coming in from yesterday, so why don't we take a look at Crownshot's Twitch?
Okay, now the big thing is that Crownshot is not your average Twitch. He is building a very key item, and I want to see this in your solo queue games. He's building Muramana because it is hugely cost efficient and it scales really well. Drakos, what's the napkin math?
Okay, so with no tier stacks at all, the item already is going to give a level 9 Twitch 5180 for 2,400 gold, ramping up to around 8080 when tier and presence of mind are fully stacked. That's an insane value for 2,400 gold. And that's not all, folks. There's more.
And then it's the cherry on top, which is the passive when you factor into Muramana, which consumes 3% of Twitch's total mana per auto to do double that amount in bonus damage, adding tons of DPS to this champion. This also procs on anyone hit by his ultimate. And you just have to look at the team fights to see the ridiculous damage.
It's absolutely incredible, and of course, it may seem odd to you if you've used Muramana on Ezreal. Why is it that Muramana is single target and auto attacks, but suddenly is hitting on Twitch's ultimate, which is this gigantic powerhouse of an ultimate? Well, Twitch's gigantic powerhouse of an ultimate is coded as an auto, even though it's an AoE ability. Isn't League of Legends fun, kids? Inconsistency, woo!
Woohoo! And that's partly why Twitch is being brought back into the meta. Now, instead of just going the Bork route, he can go for a Muramana. He spikes super hard on 2 items. You are no longer entirely reliant on just a 3-item power spike for a hyper carry.
Yeah, insane. I mean, I don't know why everyone is just not picking it. Also, a philosophical question. If Twitch is invisible, and he's 1.5 meters away from you, is he still socially distanced?
And this is where Riot Games thought ahead, right? Is because here's the deal. If you can't see him because of the way camouflage works, you know you're safely social distance. If you can see him, he's too close and you need to run because he is the FLICKR.
Wow, I mean, can this champion get any better? No, okay, seriously. So what about the laning phase? Of course, in the past, there were some concerns.
Yeah, and this is kind of the big thing with the Yuumi coming in. And as soon as you see the Yuumi, that's kind of the giveaway that Twitch can be picked here. Now, Twitch historically is weak in the laning phase, but Yuumi allows him to take Exhaust, Heal, and Ignite. When you have 3 combat summoners, suddenly your laning phase doesn't look so weak. And Twitch also doesn't necessarily get bullied around. With champions like Aphelios getting nerfed, Varus getting nerfed, these champions that were dominating the lane phase, Twitch doesn't have that many weaknesses. He's usually against Ezreal.
Yeah, and that's something that we saw yesterday is that the Ezreal matchup is hugely positive. Now, normally Ezreal builds tier, but kind of his safety and range and his ability to decide when you're going to fight means that that's not a big deal. Twitch matches the Muramana. They both get the item, and here's the big difference. Twitch is a massive ball of stats. He has an AD steroid, he has an attack speed steroid, he has a range steroid. So at the end of the day, if Twitch ever sneaks up on Ezreal and gets the jump, it doesn't matter if Ezreal has E, it doesn't matter if Ezreal has flash, Twitch is gonna kill him. There's nothing that Ezreal can do about it, and that's super uncommon. No other champion can catch Ezreal out like that.
And now, guys, when you do take this to your solo queue games, be sure that you buy pickaxe first. Do not come back into lane with double tier against an Ezreal. That is not a good time. You wanna grab the pickaxe, then complete the Muramana as quickly as possible so you can start stacking it up as fast as possible to make the most bang for your buck. So good luck, everyone, please. I want to see this when I pull up OPGG be the #1 build. I want to see that Muramana.
Ruin solo
Ruin
queue.
dreams.
I love it, Froskurinn. Thank you. And I think many people will be very thankful for you explaining that. But back to SK, they of course pulled out the Twitch, or Crowny did, and it's fit in their composition. And I kind of want to make that lead into a bigger point about one of the strong points of SK this split so far, their drafting.
Because it's like, but wait, there's more.
There's more.
Look at all of the camouflage and invisibility on this comp, and then you throw Twisted Fate on top of it. The cool thing here was that the fact that Yuumi, you get the buy one, get one free special. She's on Twitch. He pops out a camouflage. Guess what? 2 champions, not just 1. Same thing goes for Kha'Zix. Super obnoxious. Destiny as well. Like, this team can hit you anywhere and everywhere. The Silas just there to counter the Ornn and give them some sort of hard initiation.
And while this single draft is a great example of SK kind of innovating and dominating the draft,
super cool comp.
Yeah, it's also showing us more from SK in that they're developing more compositions and more way to play the game. Because so far, the big success case for SK has been put everything in the crown shot bucket.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there's a Twitch here. There's still a lot of eggs in the crown shot bucket. But the fact that Trick is playing a more aggressive, more mechanically focused jungler, you've got Twisted Fate for Zazie taking a bigger role in snowballing the team in the early game means that not only are SK identifying how they've succeeded before, but they're continuing to innovate and add more to that style.
I do want to focus very quickly on the Kha'Zix pick in particular because we also saw Fnatic pull it out. I expect to see more Kha'Zix. 10-14, he got massive buffs on his isolation damage, so he's actually just a big deal in his own right, but he's really good at burning through the jungle, especially on monster objectives. So while Trick, Kha'Zix is kind of known as that big assassin. You want to snowball your lanes, kind of be like more of that carry-oriented player. You can also still farm quite effectively on Kha'Zix in a Elder Drake-oriented meta.
Yeah, fantastic. And all of that we saw in that specific comp yesterday. Back to SK and their road to playoffs. So to me, if you'd have a tagline for them in the beginning of the split, it would be an unlikely hero, an unlikely playoff team, because even with the change, we were not sure what to expect. But it does seem that they've learned from Spring and they've incorporated this change in their lineup to the best of their abilities.
I was going to say that for me, when I looked at this team coming into the year, I was really disappointed in the roster changes. It didn't feel like enough. When we came into summer, it felt like a rinse and repeat of a similar story, but it was very quick as to how wrong I was and how much Zazie, as a fresh face on the stage, is very stable, is very controlled. Gen X, while he is struggling in the top lane, has been a consistent factor, and Limit's looking really good. So the fact that all of SK seems to have leveled up and they've still kept a strong core around crown shot is truly impressive for changes that on paper look very insignificant.
The most important thing, especially when you're looking at a team like SK right now, has to be playoffs. Reminder, guys, we have 6 spots. The format has changed. If you do not make playoffs, you do not get an opportunity to even attempt to go to Worlds. So let's count the teams. You have Mad Lions, you have Rogue. You know for sure that they're going in. You have Origin, you have G2, you have Fnatic. That's 5. There's one last spot up for grabs between Vitality, SK, Excel, and Misfits. And the thing is while we just talked about the power of Misfits, SK is probably who you're going to want to grab because of pop-off performances like Crown Shot. That's why games against Schalke are so important. That's why there's so much focus on SK. Theoretically, this should be the last spot for SK to grab the ticket.
I love that you added theoretically, because maybe someone's going to upset the apple cart, because I think we're constantly going into, oh yeah, these teams are going to make playoffs because they're Fnatic, OG, and G2. I mean, I'm not completely convinced that that is exactly going to play out like that, but that's even more important for teams like this. And you just said it, when you're up versus an opponent like Schalke, who only has 1 win to their name, and yet you just cannot afford to drop this game.
I mean, consistency is so key for everyone. This is why 5th place is tied with so many teams, is because none of these teams outside of Mad Lions and Rogue can consistently win when they're ahead, can consistently pull ahead in draft, consistently identify how they're supposed to win in the meta. The reason we have such a huge middle of the pack is because no team, not G2, not Fnatic, not newer teams like SK, can find the consistency necessary to beat teams that they are supposed to beat. So it's always a bit nerve-wracking, I imagine, going into a match versus Schalke, knowing you could be the next name on the list, just like Fnatic, to get embarrassed by the Schalke lineup.
And it's about staying ahead of the meta. I'm glad that you put it there, because that's why that comp is so important. That's why picks like that Twitch are so important, because it shows that SK are taking a page out of Mad Lion and Rogue's book and staying ahead of the meta, staying very fresh on 10-14, because we're changing to 10-14 at probably one of the most pivotal points in our split. Fnatic fans are like, I hope we can find something on this patch. And Schalke fans are like, I hope Gilius can find a champion to give us a chance in this match.
I mean, Vander said, well, you know, all you got to do is ban out Gilius and you win the game.
Ban out Lee Sin.
Let's see if that happens. Time to kick off another day of action in the LEC as we leave it to Maddie Vetty. Yay! For game 1.
Hello?
What?